Stay with me as we talk about how to stop living in fear. One of the things the Mandela community is really guilty of is living in fear. Now, it's easy to do, and I did it myself for years. In fact, it was quite a process to stop living in fear. You have to cut that what if question out of your mind. And this is hard for a lot of people. When you get so much security built up, you get a nice house, a nice job, you got a family going the way you want, you feel like the more you have to lose, the less you can take risks or even be sincere to yourself. It's funny when you talk to people and they're like, well, there's the work me and the real me. And I can't really be the real me around the work me or the online me. There's like different versions of me. If you're one of these people that have different versions of you, that's kind of a fear-based reality where, and I'm not pointing fingers because I did it. I understand it. When I had a full-blown practice and I was a doctor, I wasn't the real me. That was the doctor me. You come in and talk doctor and be an authority figure, and that's what patients want, to be comforted. They don't want like a guy with a cat on his shoulder. This cat never leaves me alone. He wants to be in all these videos. But I'm a lot happier being myself and who I really am. And I think that comes across in the videos. I'm not trying to BS you and try to put my best foot forward. That's an enormous relief to get that out there. If you can get accepted for who you actually are, it really lets you live a more honest life, and it lets you live a less fear-based life. So getting rid of what-if questions is a great place to start. So whenever you hear this, well, I can't do that. What if somebody sees me? Or I can't do that. I can't say this. What if somebody hears me? I can't. What if? That line will keep you paralyzed and push you into a boring existence of a mundane reality where you're just basically, watching football on the weekends and waiting to die. This is not what we're here for. You're here for something bigger and better than that. You need experiences. You got to take some risk in your life. And the way to conquer a lot of that is figuring out what's the worst case scenario. Okay, if I do something completely crazy, I quit my job and I want to go to China. I want to go live in China for a year, and I'm going to drag my kids with me. Something that would be completely empowering and relight excitement in your life. But there's just all these mountains of what if, and how do I do it? What do I do with the kids? And what about the pets? And blah, blah, blah. There's answers to all that stuff. You see, if you put it out to the universe or God, you'll find out that all those minute details that are keeping you paralyzed, they just get worked out somehow. The worst times I've ever had in my life is when I stopped trusting the universe and I started trusting myself. And you can also, some religious figures, you probably understand what I'm talking about. My religious viewers will understand when you stop trusting God, bad things happen in your life. When you start making decisions for yourself and not a higher source, it usually goes wrong in a sense. Now that might sound conflicting to what I said earlier, but what I mean is, if something in your head gets in there and you're like, I gotta do this, it's very exciting, but there's a lot of risk involved. Yeah, things might go wrong, but if you trust the universe and say, the universe wants me to do this, God wants me to do this, I need to just trust it and go with it. Take myself out of the equation. When you do that, all of a sudden stuff just starts working out. And like I said, the worst times I ever had in my life is when I stopped trusting the universe. And I remember being with people that thought I was crazy. Be like, you can't just do that. You have to have a plan. We have to work this out. And I'm like, nah, the universe will take care of it. It's good. And stuff would just work out for me. And I remember some of my friends or girls I dated would be like, you're the luckiest person on the planet. Everything just works out for you. And I kept telling them, it's because I trust the universe. I don't get stuck in fear. and everything just works out. Now that sounds so simplistic, and if you're one of these fear-based people, you're going to be like, I can't do that. That's crazy. That might work for him, but it wouldn't work for me. No, it'll work for you. You just have to believe it. To get rid of fear, oh no, my cat's leaving. Are you leaving? No, he's just adjusting. All right, well, the time is over. We had our moment, actually. So to get rid of fear, you really got to decide to trust a higher being, a higher source, or if you're a science guy, then, trust whatever science you believe in that this will happen. I don't know how science guys do it, but they do it. So there you go. The other big thing about fear is keep playing this. I mentioned earlier the worst case scenario. So what is the worst thing that happens if you lose your job? Yeah, it might be tight for a few months, and you might have to sell a car, or you might have to, get a job you don't really care for. But that's it. So that what if is keeping you from working a job you really love. It's amazing to me how many people I talk to that are in these careers that they're just waiting to be over. Well, I got to stick with it for 10 more years because, then I get my pension and I can finally be free when I'm 65. And it's like, okay, what about the 10 years you're working at a job you hate or you just tolerate? Man, you're better than that. This life is more important than just coasting by, man. Stop living the comfortable life and start living the life you're supposed to live. Get through this fear crud, man. It'll hold you back. It just paralyzes you. And I understand this because I've been there. I let fear creep into my life, and then I started making all decisions out of fear. Well, I can't do that. I can't do this because this might happen. I can't do that because this. And then I realized, who the heck have I become? I'm not this person. I'm here for something bigger than this. And when you accept that, and when you really get it, that stuff just works out. You'll walk around and people will think like, man, what a great life that guy has. Everything just works out. And they can have it too. All they have to do is stop being scared and start trusting. One thing that used to drive me crazy and still drives me crazy in the Liberty community is the fear that just goes around. They'll get really caught up about that the government will come do horrible things to you. Now, the government does horrible, evil things. They go to war. They drone strike weddings. They do bad things. But if that's all you focus on, that becomes your reality. That's all you hear is more and more and more bad stuff. And I remember there was this positive thing. It's called the Free State Project. And I'm a member of the Free State Project where a bunch of peaceful libertarians wanted to move to one place to figure that if we're actually in the same state and proximity, that we could do good things. And one of the very first reactions to that idea is, yeah, but now the government will find you guys easier. You're just putting yourself in one place for them to round you up. And I'm like, you do realize the government knows enough about every person here that they can take away your children, they can put you in jail without a trial and hold you for as long as they want. This is all an illusion. They can do whatever they want to you. So you already are living really without any sort of protections. So if you accept that and understand that you can just disappear one night and that's it, it frees you. So in other words, that fear is already out there, and if I focus on it, I'll draw that into me, where if I just completely ignore it and I realize, they can come get me anytime they want, I'm going to live my life how I want. And if they get me, they get me. But until then, I'm going to live one hell of a life, and it's going to be great, and I'm going to live how I want to live and do what I want. And it frees you. It helps get rid of that fear of, and this goes, and I always throw the word government around, but this really is any authority figure in your life. A lot of times there's a bunch of junk in your head, these rules and regulations that you follow that you were raised with, that don't make any sense. They don't match what you believe, but you still follow them because it bothers you and you feel obligated to follow other people's rules. So maybe I should say authority figures. Anyone that you've given your authority to, where you follow rules that don't make sense in your life, you need to sit down and have a hard think and say, why am I doing this? Why am I following these? I didn't agree to these rules. These are just like thrust on me. I never agreed to any of this. So stop following it. Start being free and stop being so scared. So what really helped me, again, was I started eliminating what if from my vocabulary. I can't from my vocabulary. If I hear myself say it, it's like it shakes me inside. I'm like, ugh, I didn't mean to say that. I can do it. I just have to figure out how I'm going to do it. I change it to that instead of I can't. I can do anything. I just have to figure it out. That's all. Is it worth the cost of doing it? How much do I have to do to get the result I want? I can do anything. And the other big one, like I said, is when you lose trust that things will just work out and you try to micromanage everything in your life, it will ultimately keep you crippled. I just talked. All I see all over YouTube is fear. It just drives me crazy, and I just want to step out and shake these people. It's like, turn off your Facebook, get rid of it. Stop watching the news. Stop feeding this negative energy that you put in your head and letting it control you. Who cares what the politicians are doing? Who cares? None of this stuff really affects my real life. Until it shows up on my doorstep, I'm not going to worry about it. And you know what? 99.99999% of the time, it never shows up on my doorstep. I don't care. All you're going to do is make yourself sick over what if and pretend scenarios. So stop it. Disconnect from that negative crap. Start connecting to positive stuff. Start watching more videos. Start listening to inspirational stuff, music, doing more prayer, reading your Bible, whatever your flavor, whatever uplifts you, that's what you focus on, and that's what you start spending time on. Turn off the shows that are about violence and death and murder mysteries and all that crud. It just gets in your head, and you'd be surprised how much it weighs you down. Just cut it out. All right, so hopefully I shook some sense into you. Stop being scared. Go do what you want to do and be the best you, man. A great life's waiting for you if you just flush that fear in the toilet. And it is easy as retraining yourself to get rid of those things. It's that easy. I can't, I won't. What if? Just get rid of that stuff. If this is the first time you've ever been on my channel or you're surfed in from a Mandela Effect story, I have lots of other stories out there. You can check out my whole back catalog. There's about 7 years of different stories. Also, I have a website, TerranLupo.com. You can find my private unlisted videos there. I also have live shows that I do on Thursday nights, sometimes also on Tuesdays. If you wander over here at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, I'm usually on the air where you can come talk to me. You can talk to my guest I have on. It's a live chat where you can interact with us. So if you have questions or some comments you'd like to add, you want to talk about if you want to talk about getting rid of fear, come on by. I'd love to hear from you. So please leave your comments about this. If you have some good techniques that helped you flush fear down the toilet, share it with the other viewers. I'm sure they'd love to hear your comments too. Thanks.